And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us for another great segment. We have a first-timer that's joining us on Amazon Live today. I'm really excited about welcoming Ralph Rolle to our program. You guys have known him as a celebrated musician, but he's also an entrepreneur. And 2022 is going to be a pretty big year for him when it comes to his brand Soul Snacks, as well as a lot of great things he's doing. We're going to talk to him about the journey, but also this begins a new series we're going to be doing with him going into the month of March, where we'll be profiling Ralph and also sharing it in our Kindle Bellas. Kindle Bella is a free version of Kindle that you guys can be able to get for yourself. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the first episode that is already in the Amazon Live carousel there. And there you'll see the introduction to Ralph from his website. We're going to be giving that website out a little bit later. Well, Ralph, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
I'm really glad to be here, Cyrus. Thanks for having me.
So, Ralph, this is really exciting. As I mentioned, 2022 is already starting off to be a very big year for you. You have a lot of great things that are going on as we're going throughout this year. What has this been like for you to kind of be able to sit back and take it all in?
I'm still trying to take it in, man. It's really been surreal at this point because there's so many things happening and it's happening so fast at this point where even though I started 26 years ago, these last couple of months have been like lightning speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ralph,
it's been okay.
Yeah, Ralph, you and I have had some great conversations, including one we had for Amazon Music that they can also find there on Amazon Live. And what I love about your journey is, for one thing, the persistence, but also I think the patience that it's taken to get here. Do you think those two components and a whole lot of faith is going to help you now to be where you are today?
Yeah. As I said, it's been a long road, but it's been a very, in my opinion, necessary road to get here, because through that road, I've had a chance to see many iterations of my company, as well as be able to teach so many people about business and about self and motivating to help others to grow themselves through my example. Yeah. So patience. The big thing is persistence. You know, that's a big thing. You got to be persistent and not stress yourself out when you don't get instant gratification or success.
Yeah. And Ralph, what impresses me about you is that you are not a person who seems to get content. Hello to you, Chris Collier. We see you over there on the Facebook side of our broadcast today. You don't seem to get content because the people, when they say the name Ralph Rolle, the first thing we think about is music. You created such an amazing career for yourself in music. For many people, they would have said, you know what, I'm good. Why was it that you always seemed to strive for more? What was it in you that didn't allow yourself to be limited? Maybe I should ask that question.
Honestly, dreams are important. Passion is even more important. And fulfilling those dreams and passion is the ultimate thing to do. You know, life is a very unpredictable realm that we're in. And to wait if something is going to happen has never been my thing. Either I'm going to make it happen or not. And when I find something that I'm passionate, I do whatever I can to go for it.
Yeah,
I've always been there. I got it honestly from my mother. My mother was someone who did so many things at the same time, and she kind of made it look. She did it made it look effortlessly, and like she ran a tenant patrol in my neighborhood. She ran a tenant association, the garden program. She ran the summer youth program, and she was the crossing guard on the corner in my where I grew up in the projects in Bronx River houses. So I think it kind of hit me naturally to just have all of these different things that I wanted to do.
yeah. And so that brings us into Soul Snacks Cookie Company. And again, for those joining us on the Amazon Live side, you'll notice beneath us or on the side of us, depending on what platform, how you're watching us, either on your desktop, laptop, or your other devices, you'll notice there's an introduction to Ralph there on the Amazon Live side. And it's basically his bio taken from his website, which we're going to be giving out a little bit later. And it's such an impressive bio, Ralph. And so let's talk about Soul Snacks Cookie Company. You and I had a great conversation, as I mentioned, on the radio side, talking about it. Where did the idea for it come from?
The idea for Soul Snacks started at that point. My girlfriend had just moved in, and we were trying to figure out how to give out gifts for the holidays, and we didn't have the money to do it. So we had like 36 people on the list, and they were friends and they were family, and we knew that that amount of people would cost a lot based on what we were thinking. So I just suggested, I had made cookies before, and she had tasted the cookies as well as my production team. And I said, let's make the cookies for the holidays and send it out. And she said, sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we took the cookies and we went downtown to this 99-cent store that was right behind Macy's on like 32nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
And we sent them out to all of our friends and family. Everyone was very thankful. And they said, we really, really love the product and you should think about selling it. And I said, you know what? I think that's the sign, because it was always in the back of my mind to do, but I just was waiting for the right time. I'm like, this must be the right time. So the next thing I did is I was working at an open mic. During that time in my life, I was working 7 nights a week. And Tuesday night was at an open mic at at Sylvia's restaurant, where Melba Wilson, who now owns Melba's restaurant, was the proprietor of the evening. So I called her up and I said, Mel, I have this idea. I'd like to sell cookies, and can I possibly bring them in to the open mic night to sell? And she said, not a problem. So I created a label, didn't know anything about what to put it on with. So I used school glue on the back of a piece of paper, and I put that on a brown bag, and I put the cookies in a sandwich bag inside the brown bag. It took Scotch tape and closed it. And we brought samples, and me and my girlfriend brought about 25 bags. We gave out the samples, and everybody loved what they tasted, and they bought the cookies. And it just so happens there was a guy at the bar from the magazine, and he did an article for YSB magazine, because I was from the projects. My girlfriend was from the projects. I was working on TV. She was a Juilliard graduate, and he said, this is a very good and inspirational story. And it kind of blew up from there.
Wow.
There's more to that story, but it blew up from there.
Well, I think that the great thing about that story too, Ralph, a couple of things stick out to me. One, I mean, I would have done the same thing about the the paper bags and the tape. That would have definitely been something I would have done myself. But I love the fact that you weren't afraid to start. I think that's the thing that stops so many people. We talk about it on this broadcast a lot. People have some extraordinary ideas, as you know, and yet it's the starting that kind of hinders them, because they'll make the excuse of, well, I don't have this packaging, or I don't have that. What is it that made you eliminate all of that and just go for
it? Being a musician is a very it's a very out front act when you're on stage performing with people. You have to do what you do in the moment. It's virtual. You have to get it done in the moment. So being very afraid to not being afraid is something that I was used to as a musician. I used to get butterflies at one point, and I love what I did so much that the butterflies went away. So it never bothered me as to what someone was saying, because when you play music, some people are going to like you and some people aren't. And that's something that you have to accept every time that you perform. So it's kind of the same thing when I went out to start working with the cookies. It's like, well, I think some people are going to like them, and I'm going to be anxious about that. But then some people might really like them, and then we'll see what goes from there. But what I've learned is to get out of my own way. And that's one of the biggest things that I teach when I'm doing my master classes in music. Is not so much what I'm playing or doing fancy like movements on the drums. It's what I say when I'm not playing, to get people to understand that this is all attainable, but it all depends on how you think about yourself. Many people, Cyrus, you're 100% right. People talk themselves out of success every single day, which is something I don't understand, because this life trip is once. There's no do-overs. Once today is gone, it's gone. So I just want to honestly put value in every day, no matter what anyone thought.
Love that. And that's exactly what you've been able to do. I see you guys over there on the Amazon Live side. We welcome you. For those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. We also are streaming, though, on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as on YouTube. Today, our guest is celebrated musician and entrepreneur Ralph Rolle. We're talking to Ralph not only about his extraordinary career, but also why 2022 is such a big year. And that is what he's doing with the company we were just talking about, Soul Snacks Cookie Company. So, something big is coming for you in April, Ralph.
Yes.
We see the announcement on your website. Let our audience know what's coming in April.
Well, this April, I'm very, very happy to say that Soul Snacks has been picked up by Walmart, and we will roll out in Walmart on April 1st, which is incredible. I'm really excited about that, and very glad that it's happening. And we also got picked up by Kroger. Kroger is giving us their store soon, but the outlets, the relationships are coming, but the Walmart situation is over the moon because it's like the biggest retailer in the world, and for them to accept our package, knowing that our product, knowing that they get so many packages of presentations is amazing. What it actually stands for the community, for the baking community, for people who are thinking about moving their product forward.
Yeah. How does it feel to say it out loud that April 1st, my product will be in Walmart?
It's quite crazy. It's crazy because I as much as I've thought about where we are now and what it took to get there, and now that we're there, last week I went out to New Jersey to watch the packing of 2 18-wheelers full of our product, which was like unbelievable. So it's a big deal. It's still surreal for me. I don't know if it's actually hit me 100% yet, Cyrus, for real.
Right.
But I'm getting there.
Well, we're excited about the next few weeks, Ralph. We're going to be joined here weekly on Amazon Live, sharing bits of your story live on the air, but also as is today, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight it again in the carousel, people can actually read about you and your story as well. Today's is the introduction to Ralph Rolle. You all can find it there on Amazon Live completely for free. You can be able to read about his bio that's from his website. We're going to be giving that website here in just a bit. Next week, you guys are going to be able to go and read from this conversation that we're having today to be able to catch up. So that way you guys can keep it all together completely for free through Kindle Vella there on Amazon Live, which is a really cool way to be able to not only to read about it, but also to be able to visit his website from there and to be able to see some pictures as well. We'll be loading those into that free edition there on Kindle Vella as well. I'm really excited about this. This came to us in real time, Ralph, a few weeks ago. Remember, we were talking about in a Zoom call with our mutual friend, Mr. Angelo Ellerby, and I was like, you know what? We can create this free readable, where they can be able to that way take you along with them. However, I'm not going to have you say anything about this right now, Ralph. Ralph may have something for us to read about himself very soon. So we look forward to that. I want to talk about Mr. LB for a second. His book is also on Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it, The Sense of Success. We had him on the broadcast to talk about it. One thing about you that you've been able to do, and you shared this in a story that I didn't know, and I actually called him up after you and I had the interview, Ralph, because I didn't know, how he supported you in the beginning and believed in you. How does it feel to have people like that in your corner that are rooting for you?
It's very important to have people that care about what you're doing.
Right.
It's now, let me be clear. It's important, but it's not necessary. You do and always will need someone to help you in certain ways to move forward. But what Angelo did for me was classic Angelo. What happened is me and Angelo met some years before, And then I got a job working as an executive for a record company. I was working for Jive Records. It's the same label with High Five and Backstreet and NSYNC. I was A&R manager there. So I had set up Angelo for an interview for a publicity position. And the thing about Angelo and his character, he never forgot that. So when I started with the cookies, I called Angelo and I said, listen, the cookies are starting to take off a little bit. I got an article in the magazine and I'm getting a lot of orders. And I think it might be good if I got a publicity person. But I got to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of money. And he said, come down to my office. And this is when he was on 7th Avenue in the 50s. I think it was like 54th to 7th Avenue. So I went down to his office, me and my girlfriend, and we talked to him about what we were doing. And I said, listen, I'm a musician right now, working on a musician's salary, and I'm just trying to, make things happen. And he said, you know what? You have a good product. You have a good story. And I'm going to do you something special. You're going to just pay my expenses right now. And I'm going to take care of you like any one of my other clients because of what you've done for me. And he never forgot that. So next thing I know, I'm in the New York Times. I'm in the Village Voice, the Beacon, the London Independent, Right On, Source, so many other magazines. Then the next thing I look up, I'm sitting on the TV Food Network, NBC, ABC, Fox, all of these different outlets are picking us up. And we're doing this amazing photo shoot with these beautiful photos that I could have never done in a million years. So to me, now at this point, the only thing that I could think to do was when it was time to have publicity that I could afford, is I went back to Angelo. And again, he's doing an amazing job for me. So Angelo, anybody who's out there who's looking for a great publicity person, I'm telling you, Angelo Ellaby, a Double Exposure is the name of the company, is amazing. We're doing so much stuff right now. And next week I'm going to be on ABC.
Yeah.
Which is crazy,
And well deserved. And as I mentioned, I've known him now a little over a decade, and I can mirror everything you've said. We've actually only met each other. The funny thing, Ralph, only met each other in person one time in that time. But I mean, he is memorable. You never forget. You never forget it for sure. And his book is A Sense of Success there on Amazon. You all can get it there. But definitely want you guys to go ahead and get that download of the Kindle Vella, introducing Ralph Rolle there on Amazon Live. That way, you have a snapshot of him as well as his website. And speaking of his website, Ralph, let's just say I'm really excited about the series of conversations we're going to be having, bringing our audience into these on different platforms. I'm excited about that. But how can our viewers stay connected with you?
You could go to any social platform and just put in Soul Snacks, and you'll find me. Okay. You can also go to soulsnacks.com. You can send me an email, or you can purchase some cookies. We are still producing our classic line of cookies, and we've been getting a lot of orders from our conversation, Cyrus, which has been really good, and I really appreciate that. So, yeah, that's where you can reach me. I can be found anywhere, and if you want to look at my drum stuff that I've done, all you have to do is go to ralphrolle.com, and you'll find me there.
Oh. Well, Ralph, excited about this kickoff here on Amazon Live. Continued success to you, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Thank you so much, Cyrus. This was great. I appreciate you, man.
You're more than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.